Not so long now, and he could say what he damned well liked on his own island. Or yacht. A good working yacht. Nae one of those fancy things with a built-in barbecue and a champagne fridge. So lost was he in the rhythm of cleaning and his happy imaginings of a solitary retirement that the man only heard the footsteps when they were directly behind him. Startled, he looked up. Then his eyes widened when he saw his visitor. "I wish you'd told me you were—" he stuttered, a smile beginning to form. He stopped, and the smile died on his lips as the figure bent over him, and he felt a sharp prick on his neck. "A decision has been taken, and you're no longer needed," a rough voice whispered in his ear. The man put a hand to the side of his neck, panic and confusion setting in. "What the hell?" he tried to say, but his lips were numb and all that emerged was, He put his other hand on the window, using the pressure to help lever himself up as he stared wildly at his assailant. But the glass was slippery with ice cream and white vinegar gloop, and he slid instead to his knees, fingers squeaking as he pushed harder on the glass to slow his descent. He sat there, looking up helplessly at the figure, unable to understand how or why this was happening. The seconds ticked by, and a trickle of sweat ran down his back. Was it hot in here? He wanted to ask, but his lips and tongue had stopped working, and the most he was able to manage was a series of garbled moans. He once more attempted to push himself to his feet. It was a vain, uncoordinated effort which left him lying on his side on the floor. The figure didn't talk. The figure simply watched and waited as seconds turned into minutes, and the attempts to stand became weaker and weaker. The man on the ground wriggled frantically, his eyes wide in terror, his brain urging his body to cooperate. He felt a pair of hands on his belt, the pressure at his waist tightening then loosening as the strip of leather was removed. Fingers fumbled at his waistband, and he heard the sound of a zip. Without ceremony, his trousers were tugged down, his boxers coming with them. "Is this a sex thing?" he wondered as he felt himself slide painfully along the floor, the hands hauling mercilessly on his boots. Then his legs were lifted, bent, straightened, bent, to facilitate the final removal of his breeks. He'd heard about that serial killer who met folk online and roofied them before killing them. The sick bastard. Jesus, if it was a sex thing, fine. They could have a damn orgy for all he cared, as long as he was alive at the end of it. Although given that his big legs seemed to have stopped working, he wasn't sure that the little leg would be of much use. The tiny, rational part of his mind that was watching the scene unfold said, "I can't believe you're desperately hoping that this is a sex thing. It's a murder thing. Your murder thing." His heart was thumping hard, and a rhythmic jerk in his throat as his coat was peeled off. Then his jumper and vest were manhandled over his ears, leaving him naked on the floor, a line of drool cooling on his face. He was perfunctorily rolled onto his stomach, where he lay, unresisting, awaiting the next humiliation. It didn't take long to arrive. He felt something cold and wet on his back, and even though he couldn't see the liquid, the acrid smell told him that it was glue. His thoughts were scrambled. It made no sense. None of this made sense. Was something going to be stuck to him? He watched white trainers stride confidently across the floor, a gloved hand dragging his window-cleaning stool, its wooden legs leaving dark marks in the dust. With a great effort of will, he craned his neck to catch a glimpse of whatever horror was on its way. The figure seemed to be rigging up a pulley. The man could hear ropes being slung over a frame high above him, and he writhed and grunted as it dawned on him what was about to happen. His mind screamed at his useless body to move. Just fucking move! Now! His heart seemed to have developed a rhythm of its own, and pain shot through his chest. His shoulders strained and his arms crept slowly outwards, then stayed there, in a parody of a push-up that he was no longer capable of performing.